Okay, so we're back this time in 3D world. Who's on this? So I've got this scene file here that I've set up. This is using all the cameras provided by Clear Angle Studios, where they give you an MA file or an FBX file for any scans that they capture. So you can then do camera lineup. And in this case, they also, as well as giving you the raw data, you get undistorted JPEGs that they've already undistorted that you can then align to your cameras so a modeling artist can start working from the offset. That's pretty, I would say, standard from a scanning company, and it's fantastic that you can just get going straight away. So for example, now there is a bug in Maya. These cameras, when you look through them, they will show the wrong image, which is a stupid bug, which I know there is a fix for. I forget what that fix is off the top of my head. So for example, again, it is calling in the right image. It is pointing at the right camera. That's not been messed up. It's just this bug. ASO1 and CO. ASO1 and CO. You just gotta click it a couple of times. It's stupid. Anyway, and again, it's stupid here. Never mind. So you can see here that everything lines up to the scan. We've got the photography. So again, modeler's dream. They've got some solid reference that they can align to 3D geometry. Now, when you're doing texturing, though, we aren't going to want to use these images because they've been or not graded. They're basically raw images that have been converted to JPEGs. No grading, no exposure checks or anything like that, which is how it should be, right? When you're modeling, you don't need to think about any of that. So it gets you going and that's all good. So what they also provide is the raw data. And in this case, this is going to be the cross-polarized photography, which is, again, not graded. It's just straight raw. So I've taken a selection of those just for this test because, again, doing the whole thing would be a big task. And these aren't provided in that folder, but it's just to show you just the workflow more than anything. We are going to be using this as part of our modeling props for VFX course and surfacing props for VFX course. So we'll be going through it in those courses in a lot more detail. But what we have here is the raw data. I'm going to take you from scratch, from raw data to raw therapy. Actually, I'll show you. Let me jot this down. If I can find Leonardo. Here we go. For the workflow for, again, this is modeling. Well, it's not really modeling reference. It's let's call it projection reference for texturing. Projection reference. So we're going to do the raw. We're going to go to raw therapy, do our process that we've already done. And that's going to be output as 32-bit TIFF. And we're going to go into, just do a quick grade in Nuke. And that's going to be output as, let's do 16-bit PNGs again in RGB. Only this time to this image in here, we're going to apply the ST maps. So we can then do the undistort. And that way, when we're projecting onto our model, we're matching what we've got from the undistorted reference from the processing. Okay, so that's the important part, and then we go out and then we can do our texture work there and make sure everything lines up. Okay, so again, that's super important. So in here, good. Yeah, I've got this. I'm gonna grab all that. This is cross-polarized photography. Let's jump into raw therapy. If I still have it open, go. Browser. Grab everything. Editor, and here we go. So in here, this is the right stuff. ASO4. So I'm just using the ASO4. Okay. Yes, that is the right stuff now. Cool. Okay, so we do the same again, which again, I do not remember off the top of my head the settings. I'm just going to use this doc again. Obviously, you could create a template for this as well. That would be the sensible thing to do. I know it's probably a bad thing for some. I do like to do things a number of times primarily so I just remember what to do. So I do a lot of manual, again, mainly so I can remember where everything is, and if I run into problem solve anything, I can figure things out. So I'm not reading the doc now, I am just going by still memory. Get the right bit. And delete down here. If I forget something and mess it up, you know why. And we aces P1, going out. And then again, the important stuff that we've already mentioned will be making sure that I switch that method I use and turn off order. Check that here is correct, which it looks like it is from memory. And then lens, we want no. Cool, so we get that. Okay, so actually I'm going to do two versions. I'm going to do one without and one with. Let's do the one automatically to begin with. We'll see what happens. Okay, so let's just copy, Control A, right click, do its thing. Cool, and now let's just go right click, put to queue, and then again I'm just going to drop it into this same folder. That cool. So this one, forget now if I did the distortion or not. I'll label this folder in a second so I remember. But there we go. So they're coming through now. And in the meantime, just while that's happening, just jump into Nuke. And let's load. What I'm going to load is my reference images for the undistorted. And we're just going with 04. So these are the undistorted images that have been provided by Clear Angle. You can see the undistortion here. So what should happen is our images, once we've added our ST maps, converted them, should match this. Change that as well. You can see it's in a map paint. Space output SRG. There we go. So you shouldn't match in terms of color. You should just match in terms of all the lineup of the photography lines up. Okay. If I, for example, if I take, I haven't output anything yet. So anyway, forget I just said that. Let's go. We're almost done. Come on, buddy. They're all here. Okay, so they're done. I'm just going to jump back up here and go back to editor. And so I had that was with auto. I'm going to call this auto distortion. This isn't meant to be a session on how to name your files correctly, by the way, randomly naming stuff. I'm going to do the same again. And this time I'm going to do none. And I'm going to make sure everything's selected. Right click, view. The reason I renamed that folder was so it creates another folder and it names it. See in a second, right? It will name it inverted again. It should do. And then I can name the other folder just sort of converted, undistorted. Sorry, no distortion. No lensing, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I should call it. But anyway, we've got a version where it's done as some kind of auto distortion thing, and a version where it's got nothing. Okay, so if I just jump into Nuke there, and let's just test this version. Let's get this going. So I'm going to run, sorry, R. Here, auto distortion. I don't even know now. There's our images, raw. Okay, so you can see this one doesn't match that one. Let's load the ST maps. ST map number 4. So there's one per camera. This one, because it's all to do with camera 4, which looks like this. Tab ST map. Cool. source. That's going to be the map. And then I've got to do with RGB. Cool. Okay, so you can see it's done something. If I switch from that to that, it's done something, right, with this map. I've got these settings correct. And if I compare that to this, you can see it doesn't line up. Okay, so even though I'm using the ST map on my images, you know, if I don't disable the lens correction that it's trying to do in raw therapy, it doesn't line up. And then that will be a problem, because if you're trying to texture and you're projecting this image onto your model, it won't line up. Okay, so that's a problem. Hopefully you can see that and that makes sense as to the issue that we're having. Okay, so you can see here the ST map is working. It's doing something, but again, not correct. So let's see, are we done? Almost. And again, that would be a problem if we were to texture through these cameras in Maya. Like if I was to switch the cameras, I'm just going to delete a lot of these images because I don't need these cameras. I just need the ASO4 ones for now. Here they are. ASO4. So we don't have to see stuff we don't need. Simplicity purposes. So these are the cameras we're working with in our case, although I'd have to map an image to each one, which again, I'm not going to do now for the sake of it, but let's just take this image here. Do this. Image plane. Depth 1. Stupid thing. So again, you can see if you were to project this image onto the model, or good, onto your retopologized model in Mari, for example, for texturing, that would all be good, but the color's all wrong because this has just been raw to JPEG. Back in here, hopefully we're done. Therapy. I think we are. If not, it's crashed. There we go, last one. Okay. I'm not going to, well, actually, I will do a very quick grade, but if I just load them in now. So we've got the converted, which is the one I did just now. Let's take the reference as well. Okay, so we have this time. So we can see between this image. Okay. Oh, I know what I did. In raw therapy, oh, I have to process these again. I'll do this off, but you'll see what I did. And again, hence why I do things manually, because it just makes you a bit sharper, I find. Whatever, this is the image I turned this on, off for, none. I didn't do it for everything else. But yeah, you can see here it's got the original one. So let me grab that. Right click. So gotta do the. I'll just do this off camera. Right click. Processing. That will apply to everything. Just double click this one and check. Once you have your pipeline working and your workflow and all of this, again, you can just batch, set it up and hit go. Okay, and that looks like it's all done. Right click and let's go put to queue. Yeah, good. Okay, you should just overwrite the existing files. If not, it will just do a version. Yeah, what it does actually. This is CP converted. Yeah, it's just adding a -1 in the end. -1. That would mess up Nuke reading it, but I only need one image anyway. Not worried about the numbering, but there we go. Actually, I'll just take that one image now. Actually, I'll wait for the color chart. Just want to do the color chart. Yeah, those. Right, let's try that again. So we want this one, -1, and the reference 1. There we go. There we go. So if I compare that now to this and frame 1, 1, 2, You can see there's a difference between these two images. And again, this one and this one still don't line up yet. Now if we feed that through here, look at that, this, you can see that now lines up. Okay, so this image now, which has been provided by Clear Angle Studios, undistorted, now matches our processed image. It's not been graded yet, so we can come here, we can do our, go here, and I'm just doing this very quickly, randomly. Just like that, do this. And now we have our graded and lined up image. So now I can write this out. Good. Right. I'm going to write it out as a PNG. I'm just keeping the file names all the same, just so I know what's. Yeah, not using any any naming convention at the minute. Intended as a, you know, how to name your files and folders. And okay, so let's render this. Okay. It's just doing the one frame. Big one. What have I done? 8-bit. But again, this is super important if you're planning on projecting your photography onto your mesh. The undistortion doesn't match your camera lineup, then you're going to have to just tweak and fudge things, which is painful. So back in Maya, I just look at this, just add a bit of that to see if it lines up. I'm just going to take a screenshot of that. I know it's not the best thing to do, is a screenshot, but sometimes I like to work a bit dodgy. Actually, I'm going to take a big screenshot. Screen. So I can line this up in Photoshop. So we have that to one side, and now let's update this image. Converted. This is the PNG. Yeah. And again, it should just replace it and look correct rather than this color spacing. There we go. Should just be good to go in the offset. Okay, so now if I just, what is it? 0.911, I think. Really? 0.0911. Anyway, you can see it's lined up. I'm just going to give it a bit more. Oh, it really is just jumpy. Anyway, let's just grab that. To here. I just mainly wanted to get everything so it lines up in here. If I switch now between my new image, the version where I've taken the raw photography, processed it to TIFF, graded it in Nuke, undistorted it with the ST map, everything lines up still as it should. So you're good to go for your projection work in Substance Painter or Mari or whatever you're using. Everything now you can export these cameras from your 3D scene and take it into your apps for projection work. And again, the photography you're projecting onto the mesh is in the correct color space. It's been graded as it should be, and so on. So hopefully that's given you a good overview on taking your raw data and converting it to be useful for lighting, texturing, surfacing, modeling. Even if you're outputting reference for the client that you want them to see in the correct kind of format, then you can. And you kind of saw there, again, the importance of making sure your images are correctly undistorted using ST maps and making sure the settings are right. And again, your processing app, so there's no funny business later on happening. Okay, so if you have any questions, get in touch. If any of this was unclear or you think there's a better workflow, let me know. All of this can then be, again, kind of batch processed and put through a pipeline so you can automate it more quickly. Hopefully you saw the steps involved in setting up. Okay, take care.